Hello there, fellow green thumbs and gardeners. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to ASKA, Episode 4, Farming to Fuel Our Growth. So once we have all the huts, then I'll start making the cottages and laying out like a much nicer quality of life spot for them. Taking a look at the morale, nobody's in the red, nobody's under 50. I definitely could be giving them better, like, leisure hours. But because no one's actively complaining right now, I'm not going to worry about that. My hope is that I design a village nice enough to live in that they don't require, like, guards and guarding schedules, at least early on. So that I can avoid the steep cost of having villagers dedicated only to guarding the village. Because, that becomes, like, resource expensive. One thing that's important to note, which I hadn't yet, is the priority for wood and stone is kind of important to manage. So if we take a look at the tasks for woodcutter, I don't have an active woodcutter right now, but if let's assign one again. So I think that was ink. Sap was the stonecutter. So if we take a look at the tasks, if I have logs underneath everything else, what will end up happening is ink will cut logs up into long sticks and sticks and bark. So if you really want logs, because with stone cutting and also with wood cutting, you can break up larger ones into smaller ones. Sometimes it's really not, unless you have an urgent need for like sticks, it's smart to prioritize it to stock logs first and then sticks and long sticks and everything. Because once the thing is stocked in the storage, they're not going to withdraw it to turn it into sticks. So once ink takes a log and sticks it here, he's not going to withdraw the log to turn it into long sticks and twigs and bark. And that way, because if you don't do it that way, you can end up with a situation where your entire forest is like turned to sticks or turned to bark. And it gets real messy and real silly. So just keep that in mind if you're trying to avoid them clear cutting a forest for like bark or something stupid like that. Because they will be stupid like that. Now, there might be a case where you want to clear cut a forest if you're trying to make room for your village, and then you can just say, hey, I want firewood or something like that, and they will just, like, cut everything into firewood, meaning that they'll clear cut the forest for you, as long as you keep withdrawing firewood from your storages. Alright, there is the stone pit. And in order to get cottages, the last pit we need is the gathering hut, which is the one over here. Let's upgrade this too. Three logs, 3 long sticks, 6 stone, 6 small stone, 10 bark. And the amount of like overland travel that I'm going to have to do to drag some of these materials in, I should probably do a quick rest so that I have a stamina bonus. So I'm not completely tired. Another thing I hadn't done is, now that we have a stone pit, I don't have a larger pick made available to Sapo. So I probably ought to make a large pick and put it into storage so that Sapo can use it to cut the large stone chunks. Because he still, if I'm not mistaken, has the starter pick. There we go. That, and I never put away my old axe, which takes up inventory space for no reason, so I just did that as well. Summer is getting here. It is getting warmer. Okay, so we're heading into a new season. You don't really need to worry about, like, protecting yourself from the heat. Your characters won't overheat in that way. It's the cold that is really, like, the death knell in the winter. Trying to get the supply chain to have clothing is going to be really, really important to be able to weather the winter well. And we can work on that after getting the pits up. I'll probably be polling you guys about that. Yeah, the first boss is winter. Well, the first boss might, depending on how many villagers you had, the first boss might end up being something different than winter. Really depends on how you design and build. Oh, I don't need a log over here. So much for paying attention. So I need bark. Hey, Ben! How's it going, man? What were you up to today? And thank you for the raid. You were playing Citadelum. Oh, I played Citadelum. Wow, Citadelum already? How do you like it? I know it just had like a major update recently, right? And welcome, raiders. So this game is ASKA, if you're unfamiliar with it. It is a Viking survival village builder. And this is my first stream, so we're pretty early on in the game, just trying to set up like basic infrastructure. So I'm getting some very starter infrastructure going. And yeah, everything's going well, pretty well for me. Not too shabby, I'm surviving. You were afraid I was going to play ASKA? How am I finding it? Have you played like Bellwright or Sengoku Dynasty? I mean, it's very, very much similar to the other sort of like survival village builders. I really like it. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the layout and the construction and the village management. It can be a little bit of like micromanagement, but that's my jam, so I don't mind it. That would be probably the biggest critique that a lot of players have is it's like a lot to manage. And that doesn't bother me at all, but it definitely can bother people. Alright, so here is the last of the starter huts that we needed to have upgraded. The management is a bit like Bellwright, yeah. Alright, with those starter huts, we have a bunch of different options now of how to pivot. So the workshop pit can become a workshop hut. So I'm going to have you guys vote on what to build next. Workshop hut is one option. Another option would be a cottage. So a cottage would allow us to house more people. So here's a cottage. I'm not going to do the chieftain house just yet. I think it's out of scope. We could do a mining hut. But with that, I'm not going to include the mining hut because I don't really need metal right now. What else could we do? Wooden altar. So the wooden altar is like for morale. I'm not going to bother with the healing hut because no one's hurt. What else could we build? Wait, why don't I have stone? Oh, I need a workshop hut for that. Farm. So have you choose between those four options up here. So the workshop hut is the upgraded workshop, which allows for a wider variety of craftables, like weapons and tools. The cottage allows for more villagers. The wooden altar allows for higher morale, and the farm allows for, obviously, growing food. And all of those options are pretty good choices at this point. While we wait on that, Let's see if I can't design like a nice step well system here. Have it be a little bit more level. Might just require me manually picking. As you can see, it's like smoothing it out. Because it doesn't need to be perfectly flat. I don't think that's not my goal, and that's not all that realistic. I just wanted gentler slopes so I don't get stuck. God dang it, you're sold? I don't think you'll regret it, man. I mean, you know what I mean in the game picks. Like, if I find a game that I like, you know, I'll put it this way. I bought this game. You know, I'm not, like, sponsored. No one asked me to play this. I'm not getting kickbacks. I don't have any affiliate links. I just enjoy it. And as simple as that. But I really do. I have a soft spot for the village builders. So, I tend to like village builder games, you know, even if they're not amazing. Alright, so there's our little pseudo stepwell, for better or for worse. And it looks like you guys want me to build a farm next. So a little reminder, farms. They should be near a water well. And farming has an adjacency bonus if we open up the farm menu. An adjacency bonus of housing points. So houses and putting houses near farms is a good idea. I think I am going to put my farm maybe here. So the current priority right now is build a farm. And the reason here is this is a pine forest that I'll be able to cut down sooner or later. And it's right adjacent to the water well. And then what I'll be doing is putting the cottages around this area. Clustering things together. Here's my little farm, and you can already see what the adjacent plot will look like. Actually, it might make sense to put the farm more over here and then have the plot next to the well. I'll do that. So thanks for voting. Now, I think what we'll need is, once I have the farm built, like, I'm going to want another villager. So that the villager can actually act as the farmer. So before I actually get the farm built, I want to summon in a fourth villager so that the fourth villager can help me build the farm. And then I can hire one of my current villagers to tend the farm, because tending the farm is not a particularly fun thing for the player to do. It's boring. I don't like farming sims. Is the farm impacted by sunlight? No. It is impacted by seasons and the availability of compost, the skill of the harvester, because there are some people have skills that make them better at farming. I don't think I have any villagers like that just yet, but you can have farmers that have, like, nature's touch or whatever. I forget exactly what it's called, which gives them higher yields. But light level is not one. That is a factor. Yeah, our picks are 95% in line. We have a massive shared interest. Yeah, it's what I prefer. You know, I don't mind playing games outside my wheelhouse that I don't end up streaming. Like, the problem is a lot of the games that I grew up playing that I enjoyed, like the dungeon crawler games and the FPS games, the industry for those games have become so polluted with microtransaction garbage that I do find it hard to enjoy those types of games nowadays, because they're just not good anymore. Like, full stop. The glory days of good FPS games is long past. With some exceptions maybe, but, you know, I don't think it's a very controversial thing to say that FPS games ain't what they used to be. Same with, like, you know, I can harken back to the days of, like, Diablo 2 and how amazing that was. Well, you know, the games nowadays just don't scratch the itch like it used to. For better or for worse. Alright, I have 4 of 5 that I need for a new summoning. Yeah, the way I've heard it described, which rang true to me the most, is that a lot of games are not designed necessarily to be fun. they're designed to be money extraction machines to satisfy shareholder stock price values, which is just not the way games were when I was young. You didn't have massive AAA companies designing money extraction machine games. And that really changed. And I think there is a bit of, in the last few years, there's a big rejection of that now, with some of the AAA companies struggling to make games that get a player base, because they're so obviously cash grab, money extraction designed, that people don't find them fun, and people just simply don't play them as a result. So you have mega flops like Conquered, who like is a FPS game that essentially got refunded and closed down within a few weeks because it's just the same old cash grab garbage that really doesn't add anything new to the genre and is not fun for the player base. I mean, I didn't myself play it, so it's not first-hand experience, but I know to avoid those types of games because of how absolutely loathed they are, which is really just too bad. Because I do have a soft spot fundamentally for the genre, but I think the gaming industry kind of screwed that over. So, who are we summoning in? You guys choose. We have two choices here. Obviously, don't vote right. So, Dag is a craftsman who likes the rain, and Hedda is a wind rider, so she does well in high wind, but hates being rained on. And they, of course, have 3 hidden perks, which I can't see. So Dag or Hedda. And they will be raffled off to you guys. So how about okay, everyone's voting Dag. So, raffle for Dag is up. I'm going to flatten out the area in preparation for the farm. Normally I would leave this to one of the other builders, but I'll just do it myself. Do a little bit of it at least. I need 10 more rope. 14 sticks. That's a lot of sticks. Some long sticks. The other thing is I don't have a shelter for Dag. So maybe during the countdown timer, I should throw like a little basic shelter for Dag, so that Dag isn't homeless. I'll build a quick little shelter back here. All these shelters that I have laid out already are temporary shelters to be broken down, you know, once I have proper cottages. As I mentioned before, as far as design goes, it's really important to have a very small footprint village so that it's easy to defend. So a giant sprawling village is going to be really challenging to defend for walls, towers, etc. So, the cottages that I will be adding in will be, like, densely next to one another, so that they can be guarded easily. And we'll easily have the shelter built before Dad gets here. All I need to do is deliver some bark now. Which is all over the place from all the tree cutting efforts. Okay. I don't know if Dag's going to be the best farmer. We'll have to figure out who has the most farming skill. If none of them have appropriate farming skill, assigning it to Dag might make the most sense because the other people in the village have been working their crafts for a bit now. Meaning they have leveled up those specific crafts a decent amount. Swanky, thank you for gifting out a sub. And let me get rid of that poll. I don't know why I left that up. So, 7 long sticks, 1 large stone. We're getting pretty close to having that built. And as you can see, it's a one-phase building. The 1 out of 1, so there's after we add all those things, we don't need to add anything else, which is nice. Pulling up my food and water. So 2 more logs, and then 1 large stone, 7 large sticks. You can see why I wanted Dag's help to do this. Because running back and forth sucks a bit. Actually, in this case, might be faster to cut down one of these tall, skinny trees to get long sticks locally. And Dag is here. So, his full perks. Dag is a winter huntsman, winter resilience, monk body, so eats less, smaller health pool, rain dancer, craftsman. Really a lot of good traits there. He's going to be potentially a good town archer, given he's a winter huntsman and winter lover. So maybe we have him be as one of the town guards. Time will tell. He's a... what is it? Pluvophile? Cryophile? And he's skilled at handcrafting items, too. Not a bad guy to have. Wow, look at this tree cutting. Our tree cutter... So, the reason why there's so much tree debris on the ground is because we highly prioritize logs. The lumberjack is cutting down trees only for the logs, leaving everything else on the ground. That's another issue with the priority. So if you have everything as like medium, they don't do that as much. Dag, you missed. That was funny. He was trying to put the log into the farm, and I like threw the long stick over his head and blocked him. And raffle timer. Dag, your new name is Scrap Code. So if I wanted to have all the other stuff hauled, all I'd have to do is lower the log priority to medium, and then all that other stuff will become prioritized to be hauled in. The sticks, the bark, the resin, etc. So it's a pretty self-correcting problem. Where'd Dag go, though? Or Scrap Code. Oh, he was on break. So I don't know, if we take a look at all of them, none of them really have farming skills. Sapo's more of a stone, a forager. Oh, you have moderately decreasing happiness. I'll probably have to adjust their sleep schedules at some point, so that they have more leisure. But one of the big things I could do for leisure is just to add in a wooden altar. And that's going to solve a lot of the immediate issues. So the wooden altar here is a really cheap way to, like, get a lot of leisure without much effort. Because instead of sitting around on the ground, they'll be sitting around at the wooden altar gaining big boons of leisure. That, and with the farm built, I'm also going to want an outhouse. Because the outhouse will supply compost, fertilizer for the farm. And just taking a dump in the outhouse makes them happy. It's also worth noting, outhouses should not be built where your houses are. People don't want to be sleeping near the poo. So, as much as you want to maybe put the outhouse close to the farm, it actually doesn't make sense to do because it will make people upset. All right, he is going to be dragging that long stick over to the farm. And this is an important thing to note, that the steep cliff walls act as a boundary. So one of the advantages that I have is I don't even necessarily... there is a defense stat bonus of surrounding my entire village in walls. But in terms of, like, controlling the flow of enemies, they won't go down sheer cliffs like this. So one of the benefits of the sheer cliff is it does stop enemies from coming in that back way. Here's the farm. What should I build next? I'll have you pulled on that. And for now, let's put scrap code into the farmer, even though he's not a good farmer. So this is the way the farming works. You hit T on the farm and go to crop farm. And then you can lay out where your crop is going to be. So in this case, I'll put the crops here. Confirm. And then we need to supply a little bit of the... You can think of it as like a fence or structure around it. To be able to rope off where the farm's going to be. And then we're going to need to make a rake for the farmer. And then move the seeds over... from the gathering hut over to the farm to have the farmer be able to farm. So let's work on the rake 2, which needs sticks, and I need to go fetch sticks. Oops, not the resin. Alright, so the wooden rake is in. And then, in order to actually build the farming plot, I need a few more sticks. I forgot to pin it, but I know it's sticks and rope. So I'll just grab a few more sticks. Okay, now that that's done, the way this works is then you hit Q to go to the the farm plot. And before I actually do that, let's figure out what seeds I have so that I'm planning, because you can queue up way more than what you have seeds for to plant, which is a waste. Because then you'll have empty plots, and you don't want empty plots. So I've got... I'm depositing all the seeds into seed storage. So let's start by planting onions. So I have 31 onions. So we go to the tasks for the crop farm. I find onions. And I can do a row of onions. Got it. And then the next thing I'm going to plant is flax. Basically, I just want flax and onions for now. So I believe I have enough flax seeds to plant as much flax as I want. Well, actually, do I have... Let me see. I've got a bunch of garlic seeds. So, scratch that. Maybe I'll do a row of garlic. And then a row of flax. Done. And now, scrap code, grab the hoe, or the rake rather, from tool storage, and is raking it out and using the seeds in the seed storage to plant accordingly. So that's farming in a nutshell. And you can have, if he finishes that plot, I can add another plot. You can have one farmer farming multiple plots. I just had a smaller plot to start, but depending on his proficiency and work schedule, you know, he might actually get that done, and we can queue up another one. So, question: what to build next? We could do a cottage, outhouse, wooden altar, roads, crafting hut. So one of those 5 works for me. And while you vote on that, I'm just going to help the woodcutter. Oh, my inventory's already full. Oh, it's full of sticks. The woodcutter puts some stuff away, because the player is much faster at hoovering up items. The NPCs have to grab them one at a time. The player can obviously skip that step. I guess there was a few other choices that I forgot to add to the poll. I could have done a, well, no, we'd need a workshop hut. Never mind. The other thing is, I don't exactly want to do the building by myself. So whatever we're going to end up building, I might want another villager. So that's what I'm going to do first. Add a 5th villager. And there's actually a deed for 5 villagers. There's like an achievement to get your 5th. So, I'm going to add a tiny little shelter for the 5th. Up in the hills, just like I did the others. And then summon them in. We really are hill folk, aren't we? I mean, we're trying to flatten it out a bit, but regardless, it ends up looking like hill folk. Oh, you guys are really tied in these polls. Well, if anyone wants to be a tiebreaker, now's the time. Unexpected. Thank you for the bits. 'Twas unexpected. I hope you like this game, because, you know, you have a character here named after you. You know, I should probably work on summoning the villager first, because there's like a 5-minute lag time summoning a villager, and I'll easily be able to build this shelter in the meantime. Which means getting some Jotun blood. Looking for the cyan stones. Yeah, you were the first villager, in fact. You are our... What task do you have? You are our gatherer. The one interesting thing is the other stone miners that we have, if they do target, like, stone shards, they'll leave smaller stones around often. Is this a renewable resource? Yeah, it does spawn over time. I've not found a situation where I was, like, hard strapped for Jotun blood shards and, like, not able to find any. I almost always have enough, unless, of course, smokers steal it. Because smokers don't just eat your, like, farm crops, they will straight up eat your Jotun blood. They're horrible like that. So as long as you're making sure you protect your supply, you should be fine. Alright, we are... I just need one more node. Thought I saw one over here. No? Oh, it's right there. Well, Team Outhouse is winning, but if you haven't voted yet, as soon as I get the next villager, the materials for the next villager, I'm going to resolve this poll. But yes, it is a renewable resource, and you can also get the Jotun blood shards off of enemies killed. So I've already gotten one off of a white I killed. Okay, there we go. My big pick's about to break. I might want to stick this nearly broken pick into the tool storage just so that one of the other villagers can use it up. And we're going to build an outhouse. So, who to summon? We have... Left would be Springtime Vitality. Regens in spring, and also Iron Stomach, able to eat whatever the hell. And middle would be Stout. So, less prone to cold, sore throat, intoxication, food poisoning. And Bear Prowler, heavy hitter. His name is also, not one... Sanut. Not to misspell, you know? Just gotta be real careful about that name. What are you doing, Scrap Code? You wish we had compost. Well, good news! I'ma make a poop house. So current priority right now is build a an outhouse. And you guys want Snut. Feels wrong saying his name. Snut to join us. Let's hope his hidden traits are ones that are agreeable. So I'm gonna finish the little shelter that we had queued up, and then I'll build that outhouse. Another thing is you can see damage to the bark. So the bark and things like that are laying around on the ground that are not being collected will eventually decay. So there is like a bit of a garbage collection. Canute? Okay, it's a good Danish name. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. There is a bit of a damage collection mechanic at play. So I don't necessarily have to worry about trying to collect everything, as it will decay away if I don't end up using it. Canute. Well, he's going to be renamed. Oh, speaking of which, raffle timer's up for the new guy. And we have a fresh pick. Cheers. And fortunately, the woodcutter has been doing a really good job of supplying up his hut. So, like, I didn't really have to do any of the resource collection for this shelter. Everything was just supplied locally, which is great. Which is exactly what you want your villagers for. So, there we go. There's Canute's, or soon-to-be Raffled's names. So, at this point, we are going to add an outhouse. And I don't want it, like, too close to where the housing is going to be. But I also don't want it too far away, because I don't want them having to run a far distance to be able to take a dump. So I'm going to put it, like, here. Making sure not to block any of the crafting huts expansion slots, which is off this wall and off of this wall. It's really important to remember that certain buildings like the crafting and the warehouse have expansion slots, because if you block them, you've screwed yourself. 6 sticks, 6 stones, 6 long sticks. Thank you for tuning in to ASKA, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind I've asked for no backseating and no spoilers, so if you can avoid those in the comments, that would be great. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Vikings.